I'm Dennis Williams, the creator of CashMap. Over the last few weeks, I've had colleagues and friends ask me repeatedly, "What's your backstory? And you really ought to share it." Well, this is probably the most difficult video that I've taped because it's about me. But they've convinced me, so here we go. If you were to ask me what I'm passionate about, I've realized that over the years, and I've been repeatedly told, that creating win-win solutions are really important, that they build long-term relationships with people, and it's a reflection of somebody's commitment and their integrity to the individual, that they're doing what they're doing because they want it to stick and to make a difference. And with every position that I've worked in, I've come to it with the commitment that I just love to see people grow personally and professionally, and they benefit and the company benefits, productivity goes up, and the morale becomes strong, and there's no better way to create a strong team of people. And lastly, I'm passionate about acting with integrity, even when it hurts, when it might not be to my best interest. I've learned that nobody can beat me up better than I can, and it's a great way to be able to learn and to be better, and you earn the trust of those with whom you work with. So with that in mind, we've all heard the phrase, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. And so in 2007, when an account manager at the mortgage company that I was running in Kirkland, Washington, walked in the door and said to us, "How would you like to show your customers how they can pay their debt off in half the time without changing their spending? And the interest rate doesn't matter." That didn't sound like integrity, and it sounded like a scam. And so I immediately pulled out my Excel worksheet and wanted to test what he was saying. And to my surprise, he was telling me the truth. And it was something that I hadn't learned. I was really excited about it, and so I shared it with some friends, the Excel worksheet that I'd created and that I had used to help our loan officers present this mortgage product to their customers. And one friend in particular lives in Hawaii, where I had lived for the last 27 years, shared this mortgage product with 20 friends. And the results were so dramatic. Not a single one of them would free finance their home with this product because they thought for sure it was a Ponzi scheme or something slick that was being presented. My friend was shocked. This was the beginning of a 10-year journey where this friend of mine plus another couple of friends offered without me asking to create a product from the strategy that you've heard me talk about in my videos that could be spread and shared with people, because they were impressed that everybody should know what I had learned and it could dramatically change people's lives for the better. But even for them, every time they presented it, the same problem came up. People didn't believe them. When I would present it to my banker, she knew about the average daily balance, but only upon closer examination did she realize that even her, being in the business for 30 years, they had never been taught the implications of optimizing your average daily balance. When I found a developer to take the Excel worksheet and create it into an iPad application, the first version of CashMap, he made me go meet with his financial advisor because he had never heard of this before and wanted to know before he took my money, because he didn't need it, whether or not what I was saying was true. And it was. So my personal background is I earned an MBA from the University of Hawaii with an emphasis in finance. I spent 18 years working for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Hawaii, called HMSA, in a variety of positions in which, when I left, I was vice president of a subsidiary of theirs responsible for developing a long-term care insurance product. I moved on to become CFO for the Kauai region for Hawaii Health Systems, which is the hospital network that is owned by the state of Hawaii. My wife and I decided with our three kids to move to California, in which I worked for the employer who ran the mortgage company, and I was also vice president of benefits and risk management at his long-term care chain. I did some consulting for a long-term care facility in Canada, and then I was asked to join Integra, which is a pharmacy software company, as director of finance and HR. And that ended up as being executive vice president for software development and testing when the two companies merged, one on the East Coast in South Carolina and the company here in Washington State. So we all have a personal dilemma. We'd like to make larger loan payments, but we're limited by our positive cash flow after we pay our bills. And we have to balance that with just being able to enjoy the simple pleasures of life. Consequently, nobody's going to take all their extra cash and apply it to a loan. Nor do we have any real tool to be able to see what our future is going to bring to us based upon the way we spend our money today. We're told we're supposed to budget, but budgeting is kind of a bit of a downer because it seems like it's going to take things away from us. Consequently, our dollars sit idly in our checking account, and it serves as a great profit opportunity for financial institutions. They use our balances in our checking and savings account as collateral to borrow, make money, and pay us 0.1% based on the current environment. So we've all learned that, contrary to my own commitment, banks are not here to create win-win solutions with customers. They are here to make profit at our expense. We've learned this and seen how they boost their profits off of us. Their fees are frequently too high. Their service is poor. They're very clear that they do not want us coming into their office. And we continually to see lapses in their ethics, in which we just have to keep on asking the question, why is it so hard to do the right thing in the way that you treat people? And that all leads us to the final point, that consumer education is not their priority. So for the bigger picture, we're generally taught that all debt is bad. That's just not true. It depends upon what the debt is being used for. And at the same time, if we're going to borrow, we certainly want to be able to get the best rate and pay the least amount of interest. And of course, that's a main part of what I've discovered with the CashMap strategy. And we still have the challenge of needing to balance paying off debt with enjoying life. So CashMap strategy is enabling you to put and keep your money at work without increasing your monthly payment requirements, and is doing it by effectively refinancing debt in very small amounts. So you're using your income to create lower interest costs, which shifts the payments to principal. And all the while you get to retain your flexibility and make adjustments along the way. It sounds too good to be true, but it really is. And in the same line of liking to teach and wanting to see people do better, the question I ask is, why shouldn't everyone understand and use this simple process? Why shouldn't it be available to everybody? And why shouldn't everyone have a tool to quickly see the future impact of what our spending choices will be before we spend them? And lastly, why shouldn't it be affordable? If enough people decide to use the product, I'm assuming the cost of the product can be very low and within reach of literally everyone. So, As you've heard, CashMap Pro provides you with personalized solutions that use your income to create a low-interest loan. Your income enables you to create a rate so low, no bank would offer it to you. And in that process, it enables you to pay off loans quickly, saving you thousands of dollars. And each step of the way, your solution shows you when and how much to withdraw. And by saving on your interest expense, you're creating unexpected opportunities that you never thought would come your way. So the way I did the pricing was to create either a single one-time purchase, which is not the best for me, or to do a subscription. Costs less, but in the long term you pay more. Provide lots of educational materials, provide optional consulting resources so that if you need help, you can easily have it. Provide free webinars. And at this point, just to be able to help get the ball rolling, I'm looking at providing, based on my availability, up to 3 free consultations. The first one, just to be able to ask questions so that you understand what the strategy is. Then the second 2, that you'd be using the product to make sure that you know how to use it, feel comfortable using it for the benefit of your family. So I'm going to do it for a limited time. I'd love to review your scenarios, next steps, answer any questions, and then check in from time to time to answer any questions and make sure things are going well as you would expect. I'd really love your input. I'd like to know, what can I do to help you? Is there something that doesn't make sense? What makes you most uncomfortable? And if we're going to do webinars or consultations, when's the best time? And if you don't want to attend, I'm even curious to know why. So key action items for me that I'd love to hear from you is, number 1, you got suggestions or other topics you'd like me to address, questions, email me at dennis@cashmapconsulting.com. I appreciate you taking the time, and I'd love you to download CashMap Pro either on Google Play or in the Apple Store for free. You can input your scenario, see what your total costs are, or what your total savings are going to be before you purchase. And to see the detailed solution, then you make a choice of how you're going to purchase the product, and you have a 7-day free look. To learn information more about the strategy, visit our updated website at www.cashmapapp.com, where we've got over 90 articles, ebooks and videos, interactive resources, consulting options, and of course the webinars. Thanks so much.